Yes, the Quintessential Quintuplets is back. Well, for 2 episodes at least. Just as we thought it was all over, we get one last look at the quintuplets. So to sum up what these specials are exactly, they are 2 episodes that show more of the events of the story that were not included in the original series due to what I assume was pacing and timing issues. If you're interested in whereabouts these specials take place within the story, you're looking at after the trip to Kyoto at the end of season 2, but before the events of the movie, specifically in the summer holidays of their 3rd and last school year. We begin the first special by seeing Futaro and Nino going to the hospital together to visit their injured manager. Nino has reverted back to her season 1 self and is hurling insults at Futaro, but this time it's not from a place of hatred. Instead, she's missing him during the summer holidays and she wants him to ask her to see her at some point, but he's too dense to pick up on these signals. We get a cute moment between the two of them where Nino reaches out to him and says, "Don't you disappear from my sight, Fu," with possibly the cutest face ever, and she declares that she's the one who's going to do the pursuing here. Next up, Raiha and Futaro visit the beach, which is where the quintuplets were supposed to be that day as well, but they were too busy moving back to their old apartment. We got flashbacks to when they were looking after Ichika's manager's child, which, to be honest, I didn't really care much for these scenes. It created a bit of friction when they played families with the child, but there's not really that much more to say about it. The scene that I liked the most came at the end when Futaro had spent the day at the beach with Raiha and some school friends, but he came to the realisation that he'd have had more fun if the Quints were there, and so he decides to ring them up and invite them to the pool, which they were secretly hoping he'd do all along. And that was basically the first episode. Moving into the second episode, we get the infamous water park arc, which we missed out on in the movie. Itsuki feels conflicted about seeing Futaro, considering the trouble that was caused on the Kyoto field trip, which was the last time they all saw him, but things were soon back to normal, so there was no need for her concern. And of course we got all the fan servicey shots of them in their bikinis, and some especially nice shots of Itsuki, if I do say so myself. But more importantly with this episode, it ties up some loose ends that the original series left open. We get confirmation that Yotsuba recognised Futaro as soon as she saw him in the first episode, and we get to see her thoughts before going up to him and talking to him for the first time. We then get some older scenes reanimated, but this time from the perspective of Yotsuba and what she was thinking at those times, knowing exactly who Futaro is/was. And then the episode confirms that it was in fact Itsuki who dressed up as Rena in season 2, and it was Yotsuba who instructed her to do it. Yotsuba felt like it was unfair for her to be special because it was her sisters who supported her, even though she was the one who failed and forced them to move schools, so she was determined to let the other girls battle it out for him and she would watch over them supportively. However, she did in fact state that she loved him despite her feelings about the situation. I just cannot believe this content wasn't included in the original series. There are some crucial scenes that really tie up the story and make sense of some of the events. The Yotsuba choice would have made a lot more sense if this had been included. It should have been the 13th episode of season 2 rather than a special. So what did I think of the specials? Well, I thought they were actually very good. They were unlike most specials in the sense that it wasn't just bonus content, the storylines contributed to the progress of the plot, which makes them worth watching. And I can't go through this review without mentioning Studio Shaft. They did not need to go this hard with these specials. Above all else, the animation was nothing short of just incredible, and nothing short of what this series deserves, by the way. The movements were lifelike and fluid, and the opening theme was by far the best of the series. Amazing, just amazing. Interestingly, the art style, in my opinion at least, looked a cross between season 1 and season 2. Now, I'm not necessarily saying they should remake the entire series with Shaft animating, but I do find it a shame they can't show us what they could have done with the series with more than 2 episodes to work with. And so, that's it. That's the entire series done. Well, I think anyway. It's sad that it's over, but I'm sure we're all grateful to have experienced such a wholesome, well written, and just wonderful series. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for watching, whether you've just watched this video or my previous Quintuplets videos. It might be my last, it might not be, who knows, depends if there's more content, right? But thanks for joining me on this journey, and I hope you subscribe and check out what I've got to do in the future as well. Thank you very much.